still on mental health. Today, we're going to be talking about depression. What exactly is depression? Depression is a group of conditions that is associated with lowering of a person's mood. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Good day, viewers. Welcome to Health Vibes with Musumola. And my name is Musumola. I am your host. A very big thank you to my viewers. Thank you so much for sharing my videos with your family and friends. I appreciate your calls. I appreciate your text messages. And I say a very big thank you for identifying with menopause and andropause. I've heard the cases of men calling me, sharing their situations or their cases with me. I really appreciate it. Join hands together with me and let us give birth to a healthier nation. On today's episode, depression, I have with me a friend and a sister, much more. She is a psychiatric consultant. I have here with me Dr. Akinola. Dr. Akinola, may you introduce yourself?
Okay, good day everybody. My name is Dr. Akinola. I'm a chief consultant psychiatrist at the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Yaba. And as you know, that's popularly called Yaba Left in Nigeria at least, Lagos, but I head the annex of the hospital at Oshodi. Thank you for having me today. I am glad to be here.
Thank you very much, Dr. Akinola. I'm really happy and excited.
I am too.
Dr. Akinola.
Yes.
I've had cases where people talk to me about depression. I myself, I have gone through what I call a depressive state in this my small journey of life. Can you briefly tell us what exactly is depression?
Okay, well, we do know that depression is a clinical illness. So what does that mean? That means it can be treated, it is treatable, it is common, it's quite endemic in the society, not only in Nigeria, all over the world, and it involves our mood. So when we talk about depression, we're talking about a mood disorder, basically. And it involves that means the mood is low.
Okay.
You know, the person is unhappy. Or when you say people are sad, they don't have energy, they feel tired, they don't have energy to do what they have to do.
Okay.
And people usually lose interest in activities that used to give them pleasure, things they used to love to do.
Thank you very much, Dr. Akinola. And what is the statistics of depression in Nigeria? Let me give you an example. I remember those days when I used to jump from one bus to another. Well, thank God for God. And then you see all these alarm, what do they call them now? These, all these bus conductors. You know how they shout on people, embarrass people. Can't you call that depression?
No, not really. You know, we do know that most of these bus conductors, before they even start their job, because you can imagine that I want to believe the job needs a lot of energy, so they will have taken substances in the morning. So we believe they do take substances early in the morning, and so when you take substances, your judgment sometimes is poor. Your judgment becomes poor. So really they don't care, and I think they believe they need to be tough because you don't know who you are going to meet in the bus, who their passengers will be. Basically, a person that is depressed typically will not have a lot of energy to do all that. Remember, I said the cardinal points for us to be a depressive episode is there'll be loss of energy, loss of interest in things they used to love to do, and they're feeling sad. Okay, and this must be over a 2-week period, and it must affect their functioning. So functioning, we have 3 domains of life basically. Functioning is either at home, in their occupation, or in their community, or if it's students, it will affect their schoolwork. So the symptoms must be present for over 2 weeks. It must affect functioning. So a typical presentation of depression, they won't have energy to do all that.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you very much. You're opening my eyes to so many things. As you were talking, I was actually thinking of when I was going through that depressive state. I'm still going to ask you more questions concerning that. But you see, in this environment we live in, I noticed recently you have more people walking on the streets, looking depressed. Do you understand what I mean? What is the difference between depression and psychosis?
Okay.
How can we differentiate the two sets of people?
Okay, so like you said, you talked about the statistics for depression.
Yeah.
We know if you say, for example, if you have a room full of people, 10 people in a room, usually say like 2 to 4 of them
Wow, that's
will
high.
have symptoms of depression. So they really need to go to doctors so that the diagnosis can be made. And so we say 20 to like 40% of the population. Remember I said it's endemic just like malaria. And
Wow.
depression is commoner in females compared to males. Okay, you can imagine why. Females we have lots of issues, hormones. You start your menstrual period, premenopausal, menopausal, and all that. Women do so many things, so depression tends to be common. It's commoner in men. So how do we differentiate depression and a psychotic state? So like I told you, depression has to do with a mood. It's a mood disorder. So it affects our mood. When we talk about psychosis, we talk about a state in which an individual will lose touch with reality.
That's psychosis.
That is psychosis. The individual will lose touch with reality. So what do I mean by that? For example, we all know that in this part of the world where we are right now, it is afternoon, isn't it? If you go outside the door, you know that, okay, time of the day. You don't have to look at your watch to know that right now it is afternoon. So when they lose touch with reality, their sense of time, their sense of perception, how they get, our senses, we receive impulses from outside. So all these things are distorted. So it's that person that will come to you and say, in a room full like this, I'll say they can hear voices of people that they can't see.
Wow.
Okay? And it is real to them. And sometimes you see them actually conversing. So sometimes when you see somebody walking on the street and the person is talking to himself and he has this blank look.
Wow.
I mean, that's the simplest English word I can use.
Wow.
It's blank, it's not there. So we are wondering, where's this person? Is it because a client comes into my office? Sometimes you ask them that, are you hearing voices of people you can't see? They will say no. But I will know whether they are actually hearing voices because suddenly they will just go blank. They're no more there, and it's like they're listening, and sometimes they start murmuring to themselves. So that's a classical sign that something is going on. Wow. Okay. So losing touch with reality. So it can come in form of hearing hallucinations, hearing things, seeing things in clear consciousness that others do not see. I'm lost. So I think it's simple enough. So they hear people talking, or they say they hear sound from the next house. Or they say, my neighbor, I had a patient that said when the man next door is washing his car, she can hear and the water is coming upward into our own room. That doesn't make sense. So that's a delusion.
Wow.
So false belief that they cannot explain based on the person's cultural background, the person's level of education.
Wow.
So you can see it's totally different from depression.
Completely different.
But we must not forget that sometimes depression too can be complicated with psychosis.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank
A lot
you
to
very
take
much.
in.
A lot to take in. Thank you very much, Dr. Akinola.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
Before we bring this edition to a close, why on how is depression associated with menopause or andropause? Andropause means menopause in men. Where is the association between depression, menopause in women, menopause in men?
Well, I think for women, you know, we talk about decrease in the level of estrogen.
Yes.
And sometimes with progesterone and all that. That's the meaning of menopause. And you know that the level of estrogen actually goes down, and this occurs. So when that happens, they're saying scientifically that there's a relationship with estrogen and serotonin.
Yes.
For example, all the antidepressants that we give, not all, some of them, a class of antidepressant, what they do is to replace the serotonin that is low in the brain. Serotonin is a chemical
Just
in the
to
brain.
bring up the mood of the client.
Yes, exactly. So if estrogen is associated with serotonin, so if you have low levels of estrogen, it affects serotonin. So that is one theory that's why people tend to come up with.
So can you take that
depression.
again?
So it's not everybody, really,
Okay.
Yes. So estrogen is associated with serotonin.
Yes.
So as the level of estrogen goes down,
Serotonin levels too goes down.
yeah, so it can affect the level of serotonin. And serotonin is a chemical that lifts your mood.
Yes,
So
you're fantastic. You're fantastic. Well, you've been able to explain to us that depression most of the time affects women more.
it does affect women more.
Yes, you've
Two
been able to
times.
explain that to us.
Yes.
But how does it affect men when they're going through this age-changing stage of their lives?
Like I said, depression is a disorder of our mood, and it can be caused by so many things.
Okay.
We know that depression do run in families, so it's hereditary.
Okay.
It can be exogenous, it can be endo. That means causes from outside, having problems at work.
Okay.
For men, usually they say midlife crisis. By the time a man is in the 40s, late 40s, and 50s, so they begin to reflect all the plans that I had. Have I been able to achieve them? So that could lead to depression in some. What about at work? Their relationship, their wife, their children.
Low libido, of course.
Low libido is one of the symptoms of depression, because if you are not happy, do you really want to have sex if you are not happy? Okay, so that's the symptoms of. So for men, it's not only that. We do know that from late 40s to early 50s in men, yes, their testosterone level begins to go down.
Is there a relationship between depression and testosterone level?
Not really, because you know that the level of estrogen decreasing in women is more acute than for men.
Yes.
So for men, it takes a longer time, maybe like 1% per year. So it keeps going down.
As from the age of 30.
Yeah, well. So sometimes some will say from mid 40s or late 40s.
Okay.
So yes. So the point is, it goes down gradually. So it's really not that. It's the decreased level in testosterone that is causing
that of depression in men.
Yes, and even sometimes the menopause in men is just like a constellation of so many things to can also cause it.
So many external factors.
Yes. There's no money, poor relationship at work.
But how come
hypertension, diabetes.
Men don't receive this depressive state in men.
Yes.
Because of ego.
They don't talk about it.
They don't talk about it.
Yeah.
How can we get men to talk about it? So that we can have reduced depressive men in their homes.
I think this is one of the ways to let them know that you can't all be macho all the time. If you need help, you talk about it. Sometimes I speak to couples and the man will say, I don't want to talk about it, that's who I am. It's always good to talk about these things. You necessarily don't have to talk to relatives. That's why there are professionals around. Get professionals that you can talk to, and they can look at it and help you through whatever you are going through. It is not a sign of weakness if you want to seek help for what you are going through. It is actually a sign of emotional strength. That it seems right now I feel overwhelmed. I need somebody to talk to. My best explanation of this is when you are going, you have a market, you want to go into a market. Is it one entrance that we have into a market? No, we have so many different entrances and exits from marketplaces. So what are we talking about? Our perspective about life. The way I look at things most times might be different from
the way I
So when you talk about these things, men, you'll be amazed. What feels so overwhelming to you? You might tell somebody, I'll say, no, but I went through that, last year this. Okay, I have problems at work, so why don't you do this? Why don't you call somebody? I know somebody that, that's what he does, to look at problems in companies and he'll put you on the right path. I mean, that overwhelming feeling, number one, will first of all go down. And from there, you begin to look at life in a different way. So that depressive weight, that dark hole, will begin to lift. So that's why it is important that men learn to talk. And the newer generation now, they say they're going to talk.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you very, very much, Dr. Akinola. You have brought a lot of smiles to my face. Yes.
Nice.
Now I know more about it.
Yeah.
Initially I thought I knew some things, but right now you have helped me to be able to help more.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you very much, Dr. Akinola.
Welcome.
And to my viewers out there, I'm sure you have really, really enjoyed this episode. Dr. Akinola has made a lot of difference. If you're going through a depressive state, there is help for you.
Yes.
Please, don't insist. For you to be a good man, for you to be the real man in you, seek for help. Until then, I say a very big thank you. Stay healthy, keep smiling, and stay tuned